I had myself without having a clue. Here's the picture.
Oh! What is this?
He's spelt out.
Where is this going? That might be the best email we've ever got.
Hell. Oh my God. Obviously a controversial topic, VAR.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was one in the game you did the other week.
There's a horrendous foul.
It's not a yellow card.
How was that not a yellow card?
You might think that, it's not a penalty, and I think it is.
Would you bin off VAR now?
Hello, welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch, notorious SID, and Chris Stark. Is everyone okay?
I'm good.
Yeah, how you feel all right?
Good. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired actually. Yeah, still. Last week was a heavy week, so I'm just on the come down. But it's a new week. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
There's been a few comments about these microphones on the YouTube one. I actually don't remember this, but there was quite a lot of Muff chat on the last.
Yeah, we dived into Muffs last week.
Did I ever tell you about the... do you know I'm a member of the Muff Diving Association?
What? Where is this going? Hold on a minute. Is there such thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk us through it.
And you can get... I'm going to get you both memberships. Well, I'm sure they'll hear this and they'll get you involved.
Yeah.
Yeah? What is it?
The Muff Diving Association.
Yeah. So what would you do there?
Well, yeah.
Oh, it's great there. Yeah. Well, it's actually opposite like a little brewery as well, which you can go to, which is sells Muff liquor.
I think I've heard of this before.
Probably easier if I show you. So a while ago, I went to a lovely town called Muff in Northern Ireland.
So this is the Muff Diving Club, perfect for people who like to laugh.
Yeah.
That's their motto.
Yeah. So
There's a fellow with a snorkel on the front of it.
I believe it's either in Donegal or near Donegal. There's a lovely town called Muff. They've got a diving squad there called the Muff Diving Squad. There's a Muff Barbers and there's a Muff Liquor, which actually
They're really playing into the name there, aren't they?
There's a Mayor of Muff.
Yeah.
There's a Muff Festival.
Oh, that's you. That's you on the website.
There's me and Muff.
In fact,
Look, there's me on the right there.
Is that you? Oh, no, is that you?
You've got full regalia on there.
Is that you in the full
scuba?
So you're fully fledged then?
Yeah, because if you're going to go to Muff, you want to dive into it, don't you? It's like,
Is that your own stuff?
You what?
Your own gear?
No, I hired it.
Brilliant, mate. And you're a fully fledged member.
So this is what I was going to say to you boys. I wasn't aware that this was all, what website is this?
You'll have a word with them, mate. They're promoting you big time.
This is their official website.
Oh, this is the Muff Diving Club. Yeah. So what I'm saying is maybe, given a nice nod to Muffs in general and some of the comments we received from last week, why don't we sort of as a podcast and everyone listening join up to become members of the Muff Diving Association?
Yeah, brilliant.
One day we'll do a little away day to Muff. I wonder if there's a golf course.
I'd love that. Well, if it is, I wonder if it's fluffy.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah.
What's it like there?
Go for a couple of hole-in-ones and...
What's it like, Muff, in general? Is it
beautiful,
colourful?
Place. Beautiful place.
Okay.
Friendly, well maintained. Just lovely. It is just a lovely place.
It's a lovely Muff.
Yeah, okay, brilliant.
Muff said.
Fucking hell.
What an intro.
Unbelievable intro. The fucking football podcast.
Wouldn't it be great if we got sponsored by Muff?
Oh, Christ.
Hey, that's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
We get like a town and we could twin with Muff.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's good.
Pete, last couple of podcasts we've been talking about your back as well. How is it?
I'll be honest, mate, I can't really shake it off. Like I'm quite struggling with it a bit. Yeah, it's better, much better. But I can't really, it's still a bit painful.
Do you know how you did it?
I think it's golf. And then I had 2 in 2 days and it went. And then I played again and it wasn't good. And then I went in complete spasm. slowly come out of that spasm, but I still feel it a bit, yeah.
Do you think this is a sort of age-related thing? Is as you get a bit older, you stop picking up these weird injuries?
I don't know. I think it's not having a team of doctors, physios, masseurs, everyone that you like. Literally, like I go in and I'm thinking, why is it not getting fixed? Because I'm not doing nothing about it.
Yeah.
I'm just stretching every day. I'm on the foam roller. I'm trying to get it going. But
There's nothing better, is there, laying on a bed and having the chiro or the back and just literally manipulating. I follow someone on socials actually that I want to go and see. I think they're actually in London. They look great. Just crack everything.
I was reading the other day about a guy who injured his back from sneezing, and I wasn't aware that was a thing.
Yeah.
And he's put that down to being late 30s.
Well, it's funny you should say that because my missus had a go at me yesterday for sneezing too loud.
Did
Are
you?
you allowed sneezer?
No, I try and keep it in.
Yeah, I like a really loud.
I try and,
Yeah, but I think that's where you've. But that's why you've.
yeah.
Oh no way! Do you?
Yeah.
But that's why you've
What, do you let
buggered
it
your
explode?
polyps.
Do you think that's why?
I think so.
Do you do that every time? I do that sometimes if I'm in a restaurant or if in like a cinema or somewhere quiet, but I don't.
Well, you just explode it out in the front room if you're like with the family. Like, fuck them.
I do. There's nothing better than a good sneeze, is there?
Yeah, well, let's all let it out.
Yeah.
Steve Sneezewell. I know what you mean, but that chat's a really awkward one because my missus sneezes really loudly, like ludicrous loud, to the point where I think she could rein it in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I try to have that conversation. It sort of leads to a bit of a fractious kind of. Cause she's like, it's my sneeze, like, but it's loud. Like you could rein it in a bit.
That's like reminds me of like the female tennis players sometimes. Like, is that really is that necessary? Like the some of them are so loud.
I like it.
But what I mean is, like, they could. I think all sports people, like, when you kick a ball, you don't make that noise, do you? Even
If you kick a ball as hard as you can, no one's made that noise ever in the history of football. But why in tennis? Why in tennis you allowed?
Boy, just to experiment. Though, imagine kicking a ball as hard as you can, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just intrigued to see, given you're the
What my noise would be?
loud sneeze, I'm just intrigued to see what it would be. I mean, like, if stand up if needs be, but like, you've got to imagine kicking a ball really fucking hard, like proper, like, have it.
I don't know what I'd be like. I think it'd be an aggressive.
But don't worry about, like.
But would you do it in a tennis way? Because
That's what I'm saying,
when it's tennis, it's almost like two noises, isn't it? Because it's the take back, like a.
Yeah. Whereas football, you're not.
That's really good.
Football, you don't bring a noise for the leg to come back, do you?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You're not taking the leg back. You're not going. I think it's more of a.
Yeah.
It's not.
Do you think footballers could get more power by using tennis noises?
Potentially.
It's something to bring to the training ground.
I'm actually trying to think now. Going back, I don't.
I don't know if I've never known anyone in football make a noise when they shoot. So why are tennis players doing it?
It's interesting how it differs between sports.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, it's still. I mean, are they? I reckon the pace of the racket is quicker than the pace of the leg. The pace, I would say.
Well, like I mean, look at boxers. Why do they do it?
But it's a different noise. It's
Yeah, but what I'm saying, they need to, do they?
yeah. So like, why a tennis player wouldn't go like? He goes.
Same with karate. Karate is a different noise to boxing.
Yeah, it is.
So why not footballers do make a noise?
Why is it higher?
Or golfers.
No, you wouldn't hear a golfer do a noise, but he's hitting it.
But he's hitting the ball.
Arguably as harder than a tennis player.
So my thing is then, are tennis players genuinely putting in, say, going to full capacity of what they're able to physically manage as a human, like Sid sneezes, are they going to full capacity and therefore are making noise, and actually all other professional athletes are only really going to 90%, 95% of what they could do when hitting a ball with power or striking a golf ball?
I think it's just become socially acceptable in tennis.
That's what I think.
And I think in football it's not. it's not acceptable?
I think there's got to be some clips or Sunday League. There's got to be some of the listeners that are listening and knowing that they play in a Sunday League team and there's a noisy player. There must be.
Yeah,
let us know your thoughts.
Well, let's know, and also maybe try it. You know, if you are the designated free kick taker in Sunday League, send in a video. Try it with a noise.
What about penalties? Do you think that would throw the goalie enough? Like, especially if you do it on the take back of the foot, like you were saying, the cock it.
But also, if you pull it back on, if you like do the noise really loud but place it really softly.
Oh, that would be amazing to see. So you double scream like a tennis player, but play it like What an idea.
Maybe it's something that, you know, we haven't unearthed yet.
Yeah.
And funny enough, we're talking, you know, on today's podcast about the way the game's evolved, analytics, stats, you know, the new technology, new wave. Maybe we bring that in.
All right.
I'd actually just like to do a couple of messages, if you don't mind, lad. I got one here from Amy. It's on the namesakes. You know, we talked, you know, climate change, Chris Stark. We had Steve Sidwell, Night of the Proms.
Like composer, was he?
Composer.
Composer?
And Peter Crouch, who was just actually a juror. I'm not actually sure of his job. But we got on here, this is from Amy. It says, listen to your podcast and thought you might like to see how Andy Carroll is branching out in Gloucester. Love the pod. Favourite thing to listen to, Chumbawamba. And you can see here, he's actually a driving instructor. It's the Andy Carroll Driving School. Very much like Peter Crouch's driving school. And obviously, Peter Crouch hasn't got in touch, but Andy Carroll, if you are a listener, get in touch and let us know how your driving school's going or whether you want it promoted on here, because we can definitely help you out.
It goes without saying, that's definitely not the Andy Carroll.
I'm pretty sure it's not. There's
I mean,
no real
his
connection.
mobile numbers on the car. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't have thought that would have been him.
He's back playing now, Andy Carroll,
Yeah,
isn't
he is, yeah.
Bordeaux, France.
That's right, he's out in Bordeaux, yeah.
Doesn't look like that car. He's
No, it's in Gloucester.
Bordeaux.
It's in Gloucester, actually, yeah. But you never know. Might have ties there. Another message here. Hi to... This is amazing. I mean, our nicknames have escalated here. Hi 2 metre, bonfire bollocks and barbecue C+. I have a conundrum I could do with your help. I started working in a warehouse a few years ago, and the old guy who took me under his wing back then, Paul, unfortunately died a few weeks back.
Oh.
A large number of us from the workplace attended the funeral, and I seemed to be the only one who was surprised when they announced his name as Simon, not Paul. A few beers later, the guys told me that Simon, a short, skinny fella, had an almost foot-long appendage and was therefore nicknamed by some 30 years ago, Paul, after Paul Alcock, the referee of the Canio Shove fame. Needless to say, this blew my mind. As the wait got to the late hours, I got chatting to his niece, a girl called Jess in her late 20s, and she asked me if I knew why most people knew her Uncle Simon as Paul. Oh my God. I managed to wriggle out telling her, but I'm going on a date with Jess next weekend. Oh my God. And I want your advice about what I should say when she inevitably asks again. All advice welcome, keep up the pods, puddings is massive, like Paul Simon, it seems.
I mean, there's quite a lot to unpack. That might be the best email we've ever got. Firstly,
hell.
What an amazing nickname. Goes without saying, right?
Yeah. But Paul Alcock. I remember the ref, he fell over with Di Canio pushed him.
Yeah. And I'm sure he must have been quite a fun guy to go along with that for a number of years. Matt is going on a date, can I just understand this right, with the niece he met at the funeral?
Yes. He met and he's actually
pulled at the funeral.
He's pulled at the funeral.
He's won.
Which you have to assume her uncle would have wanted.
I don't know. God knows.
I love the idea of someone pulling at my funeral. Does that happen?
I've never known it. I don't know.
Unless I'm misunderstanding, that's the situation.
Sort of weddings, really, isn't it? It's one of them, but a funeral.
Jeez. So Matt from Kent is going to go on a date with Jess.
Yeah.
But will probably at some point need to explain that who she thought was
her uncle, right? So I'm surprised she doesn't know, but she's been kept out of the loop. But the fact that it's her uncle, I don't think you can even broach it. Just got to say, I don't know. So I always knew him as Paul. Couldn't believe his name was Simon. What do you think it was? Put it back on her.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Well, I don't think you can say to him he's got a massive penis.
Oh, fuck.
Can you, really?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
And also,
like, how's he meant to be honest?
So if you say that to her, right, on a first date, by the way, I think it's already taking a turn for the worse. Then you have to try and explain, well, why Paul? Oh, because Paul Alcock, the referee.
Yeah, you're right. Do you go?
Who's that?
Do you go? No, because which way round do you go? Do you hit her with the massive penis thing first, or do you go, Paul? So do you say, oh, he's named after a great guy, great referee, Paul Alcock, and just hope she doesn't then go why further than that. It'd just be like,
just say,
he was a great admirer of the referee, Paul Alcock.
Do you know what? You don't even have to lie. You could just say, there's some similarities between the referee, Paul Alcock, and Simon.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? So you haven't even lied there.
Yeah, but have you seen Paul Walcott?
Yeah, but unless she Googles him,
it takes her having to go why a second time, and hopefully that
might
you might be able to just get out of the ground level there rather than taking the elevator all the way down.
There was a referee a while back who has got some similarities to Simon.
Yeah,
his name was Paul.
Please let us know how this goes.
I reckon that's job done.
Please let us know how this goes, man.
All right. Let's tackle technology in the modern game. I want to start with, obviously, a controversial topic, VAR. Yeah. Where do you stand on it? Sid, where do you stand on it?
Do you know what? It's so hard because, obviously, we look like this topic is about where the game's gone, isn't it? So if you imagine the first one was probably goal line technology, wasn't it? So if the ball went over the line, it was class over the line. Great, because there's been so many goals before that's obviously gone in our favour. Probably 66 World Cup that went over. Probably didn't go over the line that was. So
I have to say that technology actually is brilliant. The watch technology,
brilliant.
Literally, was it over? Yes or no?
Superb.
That's worked so well.
Works all great. The VAR one is. It's one of them, isn't it? I just think it's making the game too clinical. I get where they're going from because it's black and white, but then again, I think it's subjective because some of these lines that all come on is crazy. It doesn't look like it's online, does it? You see some of these frozen clips and you go, oh, he's well offside.
The offsides.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, he's onside. Or vice versa. So I'm still not 100% sure on that. But as an overall, I think it's become... Do you know what it takes out? It takes out walking out the stadium or in the pub after and you're with your mates and some of the opposing fans, they'll be like, oh, fuck, that wasn't a penalty today. How'd you get that penalty? That was offside. Do you know what I mean? It takes all that out of the topics.
But I suppose there will be people saying that's a good thing. Yeah. And I do think that there's... sometimes it's like it can be good. And I think, listen, I hated it when it first came in because I was very much like, it has taken the enjoyment out of it. You're forever like, you score a goal and you're like, oh, and then you got to wait for something. And it is killing the kind of enjoyment out of it. But then there are certain things where you think, that was so blatant and the referee's missed it.
Yeah.
And if it is blatant, then it can be a good thing. I think the offsides have been slightly quicker this year, which is better.
I think to Sid's point, I think where VAR is good, offside is potentially an example of it where actually there is a clear-cut decision. I think the biggest problems with VAR is the way it's applied, and this is different to the goal line technology, is where an opinion comes into play. So where, say...
I think it's been
for example, if it then goes to VAR, at that point, say there needs to be a clear and obvious... discrepancy in the card being awarded. These are all the same conversation we've been saying for a while now. I think there's an argument to kind of go, it's been an interesting experiment in terms of what elements to it should stay and what elements to it should potentially go. But when you're having to overturn a clear and obvious error, you're asking for quite a lot to overturn what sometimes is a poor on-field decision. And it isn't necessarily enough evidence to overturn it, but it shouldn't have been called in the first place. And that's the issue. It's using VAR, I think, for very specific black and white cases. And if you can't do it for that, what's the point of it? Because it is no different to just letting the referee or lines... Well, the thing we don't have it in the Championship.
The ref, for instance, will be like, he'll give a decision, and then the person in the VAR booth doesn't think it's a penalty, but the ref does. That's his opinion versus his opinion. You might think that, it's not a penalty, and I think it is. So it hasn't really changed. It's not really changed.
Yeah, I don't like the burden of proof. I don't like this new situation that now comes from VAR, which is it's there to prove that, obviously there's specific wording to this which I haven't got, but they need to be able to show that the referee was 100% wrong, even if that decision really shouldn't have been made. The ref's been a bit harsh in that situation. They can't disagree with it, even if the person doing it thinks, I wouldn't have called it that myself. They need a burden of proof almost. That's the situation I hate with it.
Yeah. I think ultimately it comes down to it's there to help the referee. So if the referee has missed something and play continues, they can go into his ear and say, you might want to go back and have a look at this. So obviously where he can stop the game, go back where it was an incident or whatever.
But where does this stop then, Sid?
So this is what I mean. So I think this is where we've all got to come to terms with it. This was never going to fix the issues right away. It was always going to be a trial and error. So even now, I think this season they've gone back to more of whatever the referee kind of calls.
I do feel like it's getting better.
Yeah.
But I know there's still some horrendous errors happening. Yeah. And that has happened a few times. Yeah. But I would say she feels like it's getting slightly better.
That's what needs to be ironed out. But the errors are some of them are basic errors, aren't they?
Basic, yeah.
That's the one where
you did a game the other week, right? With Rashford's that's definitely a second yellow card. But do they not get involved in that?
%. How was that not a yellow card?
Yeah, so do they not get involved in the reds and yellows?
I don't know whether that's what they're trying to do this season, is trying to keep it to the referee's discrepancy.
Yeah,
but then again, if that's he might have missed that. They might have gone to his ear and gone, did you see, do you want to review that?
How did he get away with that? I don't understand how.
He got subbed off near enough straight after,
Well, obviously, yeah, because it was reckless.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's them little bits that are just really frustrating. There was a game as well, wasn't it, the other week? It might be in the same game actually, where the referee's headset or battery pack went, so he couldn't talk to VAR. And he stopped the game for 4 minutes, 5 minutes. The crowd got going, it got restless. You're thinking, you don't need to stop that. Just, if you can't go through to the ref, just go through to the fourth official, and then he can just relay it to you through another earpiece. But
don't you think it also changes the way the game's played, and is that a problem with it? Like, for example, let's say you score, you've scored a header. Let's say ball's been put in, you've scored a header. In the process of you scoring that header, someone's done a little push around you, something like that. Nothing to do with whether you're onside or offside. And originally, you stopped for VAR to check that you're onside, right? And actually, then it comes about someone got pushed there, and now all of a sudden they're analysing this little push that was happening there. And it's only ever around the goal-scoring moments. You're not taking into account the push that happened 10 seconds ago, further up the field, 20 seconds ago, or whatever start of phases. This is what I don't like about it. I think it's going to be great one day. I think it's going to be awesome. But we have not evolved as humans.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Let's sort out 3G, 4G. Let's focus on that. Let's get that around the UK. Ideally the world.
Yeah.
And then let's look at VAR in the future, because I think there's the genesis of a good idea here, but it's just, I think it changes how the game is played if you're changing how the game is refereed. And I think that's an example. It's strikers that I feel are under more scrutiny, because the stuff that's happening in the middle of the pitch, you just let slide. So are we saying then VAR only comes into play on that bit of the field?
In the boxes.
But it's not, because VAR does come into play when Declan Rice has just suddenly flicked it.
Yeah, I think on them aspects now, as a footballer, you can't get away with nothing now. All the cameras and everything's picked up.
You are getting away with it if there was no goal, but you're knocking the ball around midfield and there's a couple of challenges, and let's say the refs let the game go. It only comes under such scrutiny when the goal has happened and the immediate time before. Am I talking sense here?
I get what you're saying.
Just think then you're playing different. You've got different scrutiny on different bits of the game. What's going around midfield tends to be left alone to the referee, unless there's a horrendous foul.
Yeah, listen, it's I remember what saying resonated with me was when you said we got relegated to the Championship, and it's amazing. You don't have, you literally, it's like the old school way of playing, and you're enjoying it, right? It's just like, we don't have VAR.
Yeah.
We have a decision. We give the lino a bit of stick.
But does it change how you play your
and then
game,
we go
right?
and complain about it in the pub.
It changes how you play as a striker.
Yeah, well,
between
it would
the
be,
Championship and the Premier League.
Yeah, I think it would, yeah.
Because you'd feel that you can challenge and it feels that you can test. And isn't that part of the game anyway?
Yeah, and also
when you're a defender,
you
do the
make
same.
a run and kind of like, you can still, once it goes in, you can celebrate.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as the rest
So I guess the question is this ruining? Because these are the same discussions that have happened with VAR, right? Is football being slightly ruined with this modern?
I think a lot of us have kind of accepted where it's here to stay now.
Yeah.
And I think we're just getting on with it. It's like, well, it's one of those things, isn't it? You just kind of accept it, your fate almost. Go. No one really liked it. Everyone kicked up about it.
But it is what it is.
But it is here, and they are trying to improve it. And I think if they do improve it, then we can get through it together.
Not COVID though. We don't need it. Do you know what I mean? Like we could start again if we wanted. We could.
Would you eradicate it completely?
Well, I don't feel I'm armed with enough information. I think as a casual fan, I'd rather it went completely.
And I think the most casual fans would say that.
If it stays, well, it looks like it is going to stay, obviously. If it's to remain and be here for the long run, would you prefer? Because a lot of people say there needs to be a footballer that knows the game, that can see.
I think that'd be good.
That they should be in there, because you look at some of these people that go, oh, if they would have played the game, they'd know that. Say, for instance, I've gone in for a tackle and the follow through has gone on to the person.
Yeah.
But there's no way of me stopping, or you can tell a bad tackle from a tackle that's not meant. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense.
There was one in the game you did the other week, Kobe Mainu. I think he slid in, and like.
That's what I mean.
What was he supposed to do?
Exactly
I think
that.
even Jamie Carragher said on commentary. What was he supposed to do with his leg?
Yeah.
That wasn't like a yellow card, was it?
Exactly that. Yeah. So I think, would you sort of be up for the an ex-player going in and being in that? Yeah. Room?
Well, you'd know if you were in that room there, right? How many tackles like that have you been in your life?
Yeah,
right, millions of them.
Well, you could relay the scenario.
Well, you just go right. Well, when I was in that position, and it's a hard tackle, number one, but it's not a yellow card.
No. This is interpretation again now.
It's all subjective.
Now, what you're talking about is a player. So then it's what player? Is it a conservative player? Is it an older player? Is it and my thing is that's no longer technology. So unless you can have solid the goal line, the great thing about that watch,
it's black or white, isn't it?
It's there. No one's arguing
as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So good.
And that's great for the game, because you shouldn't have a situation like the ghost goal from John Eustace or Lampard where that should not happen. Goals should not cross the line and be scored. And it's great we've got that technology.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm against the idea of someone going in, and yet we're all on TV trying to read whether he's smiling or not as he does it. You know, like...
I know, we're analysing.
We're looking at acting now, potentially. Is he simulating? You know, is that the natural movement of a body? I mean, this is insane commentary,
Has he made it with his hand? Like, because,
if you were falling, you'd be looking towards the sky rather than the ground. Like,
that's how much detail we're going into now. It really is. All right, but listen, VAR is a topic you can discuss forever, but what I think has improved football clubs and football in general really is kind of like the data analysts and the stats.
This is
as much as I kind of I've been sceptical on the amount of stats that we have at the moment, because I just like watching football with the naked eye. But you get to a stage where you have to concede and go, you know what?
Yeah,
it's so important in the game now.
It's massive now, and you got to respect it in terms. So I'll give you one club, Brighton. Okay, so obviously I work there. I know the owner, Tony Bloom. Such a clever person.
What's he doing, Sids, right? What's he doing that other teams can't seem to get?
So this is basically Brighton's motto, right? So he's all about algorithms, okay? So he's got his own database, okay? So he knows that Brighton can't go and shop in the same window as Liverpool, so they haven't got the money. So what they'll do is they've got their own database, right? That fits the profile for their players. So say, for instance, they want a left back, okay? And their profile for a left back is high intensity runs, deliveries across into the final box, into the final third. They will narrow down their algorithms and their database, their own, and this is their own system. Will narrow down players. Okay, then down to them players. It'll be right. Can we afford these players? So it's not going to be your left back from Juventus or Arsenal. It's going to be a left back from Cambodia. Like it's going to be like out there where no one knows. And then it's in a case of right. Can we afford this player? Right. Okay. So all the objectives is nailed on. It's concrete because it's there. It's in black and white. Then it just comes down to subjective in terms of, right, would he want to come to Brighton? Can his family come? Does he fit the criteria of the club? And that's how it goes. And it's a cycled event. So basically they do that for near enough all their players now.
And would they do that all year round?
Yeah,
like,
it's done.
Consistently.
It's done all year round. And the mad thing is, so they'll say, for instance, like, so the proof's in the pudding net. So let's go with Bissouma and Caicedo, okay? 2 midfielders for Brighton. They bought them at a cheaper price tag. They sold them for more. So
a hell of a lot more.
A hell of a lot more, right? So Bissouma, okay, before they sold him, and then this is where everyone has to fit into what way they go. So the head coach or the manager that comes in has to realise that at some point his best players will be sold, okay? So Bissouma, he gets sold. Okay, they've already had Caicedo in the building, but they knew when he was going to go, he was going to fill his shoes. Same thing happened with Caicedo. So instead of just selling Caicedo or Bissouma and then going, right, we've got 50 million, let's go and buy someone. They've already done it before. It's already been in the building 2 years ago. They may have put him out on loan, and it's just a cycled event, and it worked for Brighton. And then now other clubs are developing that and getting their own analysis and their own data and performance tracking. And their own systems.
It's becoming the norm now almost. And what I find so interesting is the two probably the biggest overachievers in the last certain few years have been Brighton and Brentford. Yeah. And obviously those two people work together. Yeah. And she's bought a football club, done the same thing, using the same methods. And they are both really overachieving. And obviously, as much as you've spent time at Brighton, I've spent time at Brentford, and I've been down there, spoke to Thomas Frank, looked at the setup behind the scenes, and so impressive.
Yeah, but they seem like the dream model for a championship club. They're very aspirational.
Well, how someone like Watford, right? Yeah. How you would look at them and go, one day, would love to be one of those, because they've established Premier League clubs now, way overachieving. Yeah. With the model that they're doing. And same with Michael Edwards. I worked with Michael Edwards, who now runs Liverpool, ran Liverpool beforehand, obviously before he took a little break, but now he's back. But he was the Portsmouth analyst. He was the analyst under Harry Redknapp. And we used to go and see him and get our clips. Can I look at my touches, or can I look at my aerial duels? Can I look at my passing, some tackles of midfield or whatever, possession. So you'd go in there, clip things up, and he'd look at it, he'd clip things up for the meeting for Harry on a Friday. It just shows the importance of these people now, is that he has now gone from being an analyst, as a player, you'd go and sit with him and get your clips and analyse things yourself, to now running one of the biggest football clubs in the world. And signing players, the contracts of players, the scouting network, the youth, the whole setup he oversees now.
Should we play devil's advocate on the situation then? Because this all feels like a big positive side to the game. What does this obsession with data, stats, maybe lose in a football club? Is it hard to XP a captain, for example?
I think you can lose a side to the game, and sometimes you can lose an importance of a player through it. I think Luka Modric isn't going to have the same stats as somewhat a midfielder like maybe James Maddison, or a more forward thinking, less. But then he could dictate a football match. He wouldn't score as many goals as Frank Lampard would, but he can create the flow of a game. He can change the dynamic of a game. He can have a massive influence on a football match, but without having an assist or without scoring a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Does it change you as a player? Does it make you play?
I think it makes you more hungry for stats. More hungry for assists and goals.
The players now love the stats analysis, and it used to be It used to be again, it was quite basic when we was playing, wasn't it? About how far you distance covered, high intensity runs, and like basically your possession, you're in that. Whereas now it's so much more deeper than that. But we'd know if we come off a pitch and you'd play well or not.
Yeah.
You'd know.
Yeah.
Like it was just a given. Whereas now they demand more. And now the analysis guys now at most clubs, the clubs actually make these guys go on to get their coaching badges. So they're like A licensed and B licensed coaches as well as analysis guys.
Oh, really? Oh, they're doing their licenses as well. So they're as coaches.
As a coaching, So there's a whole round figure of a broader field just to analysis now. They're not just there with the laptop.
But no, I was there at the side of the pitch at Liverpool Fulham the other day, and right by the dressing room, and there's fellas running in just before half time, 3 or 4 of them with laptops.
Yeah,
running into the dressing room. Like
the thing now is there's no like there is, but there's not like the flip chart where you used to get the pen and paper. Now they just stick it on a screen at half time, and they'll show them clips of the first half.
Exactly what's happened.
Yeah, but do you think where you said you'd run off a pitch and you know you'd have a good game? Do you think there's an element now that you run off the pitch and wait to find out if technically you've had a good game? Like, does your gut instinct
that came in when we were playing? That came in when we were playing. I was thinking, I've done it.
Does it match up? Do you think?
Yeah, because they'd have the 2 stats. When we were playing, like you'd have a meeting on a Monday, and it'd be like the running stats. Like if you didn't run as much as the opposition, or work as hard as the opposition, and you were down on all those things. That was the thing you really looked at. Isn't it? Like everyone can give a pass away, but you give too many passes away. It's obviously it's shit. But how if you give them away. But if you haven't worked as hard as the other team, and that can also be like if you've had loads of possession of the ball, then you haven't had to work hard. But if you haven't, and you still haven't worked hard enough, it's obviously.
And that just comes down to the GPS tracker. That's
a simple one.
And they do that now in training. So training now, you all wear these little GPS devices, and you'll have someone on the side of the pitch that will track it live to see how much, and they'll be going, so and so's in the red zone. You need to like taper him down, and that the manager or the coach can go, right, you're done, and you'll be like, we're only half hour in.
I don't know if you heard this particular story. When this first all came in, right, all the players were like, it's just a fucking load of bollocks. This will never catch on. Bit old school, right? And I remember being at Portsmouth when they got promoted. And obviously I knew loads of people still there. I wasn't there. But when they got promoted, there was a goalkeeper, right, obviously the players in the other end. And they obviously track, your movements. So like you see all the lines about where you are. So when he's in goal, obviously the players the other end, he's spelt out with his running. So he's just done a load of runs like and an art with a C, load of like ones like that with the U. At the end, it's really easy to do. You just do that for a while, then you do that with the little one like that. And obviously when they're analysing it at the end, obviously they realise what's happened and put it up. Lads are really pleased with that.
I'd love to see that because he's obviously done that in incognito mode. So he's like, like the side jockey and just going back and,
And keepers are doing that. Keeping himself warm. Oh, so good.
We did used to encourage people to do that on Strava because you can
that's right.
get people running. We'd get them to. There was one lad, do you remember, who managed to do Mike Dean Slaughter's Chicken? Done it as a run.
That was actually unbelievable. That.
It was a great effort.
Super.
Messages in Strava.
And that's where, for me, the future of football, and this is where it's good. It's a good thing, right? Spelling out Mike Dean Slaughter's Chickens, or spelling out a certain word. It's only good for the game.
What about bad technology in football? Where are we at with Wi-Fi in stadiums?
Strange, mate. Why in this day and age? Why doesn't that work?
I don't know.
And should it? Because if there's some stadiums, I don't know. There was always something quite nice about not being able to have a signal at the football.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. That you've reminded me of something as well. Trains as well. That's another one. Trains. Why say you've got Wi-Fi when you haven't?
It's blatant when you haven't.
Like what? That is the most blatant lie, and we've been accepting this lie for too long.
Yeah.
You go right. Wi-Fi, high-speed Wi-Fi on Virgin trains.
Yeah.
Bollocks. It's never worked.
Horrendous,
ever.
Wasn't it?
So
they used to try and get out of it by going, It works better on a laptop. And you go, well, I haven't fucking got a laptop. So fucking well,
and also, I watch people on a laptop go, you've got the Wi-Fi code. That doesn't work. And then we all go, you know, like we
It's
all
just
go,
accepted,
we
yeah.
just go, oh, okay.
But it's on the
Has anyone
ticket.
ever
It's on the website. It's like, so you
High
sit
speed.
here, you get high speed internet. You can't say that. You might as well go, you know, you're going to have fucking caviar, you know,
lobster thermidor.
it's all good. You'll get it all.
Yeah, you'll get it all, yeah. And then not serve it and hope no one complains.
And then it's no different. And then it comes to it. You go, where's the caviar, please? And they go, and you go, oh, fine.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. I don't get it. It's the same with football stadiums Wi-Fi. But again, you're there to watch the game. I don't want people on phones.
This is what I'm saying. And I've been guilty of it. It's actually, I think there's more Wi-Fi knocking around Vicarage Road now. And actually, I find myself
looking
at
your
my
phone.
phone. More, and I shouldn't, you shouldn't.
Scores coming and all that. Forget it. Deal with it after.
I think the PGMO need to focus their effort on fixing Wi-Fi on trains before VAR. Let's do that first.
Yeah.
There's a long list.
Talking of stadiums, Pete, you probably do this more than us too, but all like the fan experiences now. You know, like before you just get to the ground and there'd be like fucking burger stall and, you know, whatever, go and have a bet. Whereas now, like you cover the games an hour and a half before kick-off?
An hour and a half before. But quite often we go to the fan park.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I thought it was very American having a fan park at first. I thought, it's never going to catch on.
Do you mean the player arrivals bit? Or
No,
do you mean
there's a fan park. Like
yeah.
I went to Palace's fan park the other day. Got to say, it was a beautiful day, right? The stadium's there. You can drink a beer. They got a DJ in there, like loads of beers and stuff.
Things
like
for kids,
little things for the kids to do.
Yeah.
And I know, like, you know, we're very stuck in our ways. It's like, no. Fans always want to go to their pub that they always gone to, and their dads have gone, their dads' have gone. This fan park's not. They're good. They actually are a good. Like, you're very close to the ground. You're having a pint, and you just walk in.
More and more stadiums are doing it now as well.
It's good. It is good.
More.
I enjoyed it. I was down at Palace, like Liverpool, the other day, and everyone was just having a good time.
Yeah.
DJ was good as well. Perhaps some bangers in there.
Was it?
Yeah, early on as well. About, 10:30, absolute bangers. Everyone having a pint.
Tunes flying, love that.
But this is what I mean. This is as better technology comes in, it's like the screens get a bit better, the PA systems in a lot of clubs. Obviously, this makes a big difference between, say, the top, performing clubs financially that can afford all of this stuff, and lower leagues that obviously don't have access to not only data but all this technology that does exist in a lot of other football clubs. The only thing is with more technology, it needs to be sort of a bit fairer across the board. Otherwise, you're just going to have a bigger gap, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very true.
What is your? It's just come to me. What is your, like? You obviously go down to Watford, don't you? And watch. Say a 3 p.m. kickoff at Vicarage Road.
Well, they haven't got a fan park.
No. Yeah. So I'll just say, what do you do? You get up. What's your if you know you're going to go down and watch Watford Sunderland, what's your? You wake up. You got a tradition?
Well, it really depends. Yeah, I did used to have a tradition. I'd go to Wenzel's in Pinner for a steak bake. Enjoy that. Sit at the War Memorial there. Enjoy that. And then I'd go down to the Queen's Head, a couple of beers there, and then get on the train to Watford. But the thing is, now I've got kids, and I struggle to, I've got to do runarounds on a Saturday morning to stagecoach and this sort of thing. And then, it's a timing thing, Sids. If I've got a full day off, then I can, go there, booze, all of that. So it really depends. I've lost that tradition. I've lost that routine that I used to have.
If you have to do the kids thing in the morning, are you grabbing a supertenants on the train on the way?
This is what I mean. It all totally varies now, Sid. I really miss that. I miss that.
There's my sneeze.
Let it go.
Can't let it go. Can't let it go.
You should have screamed that one out.
Yeah.
I really want to hear you. Do you know? Let's just maybe quickly, I'm aware we're getting towards the end of the podcast. Why don't we try and make you sneeze so we can hear it?
Are you going to do that?
Make someone
I
sneeze.
think you can do it. Put your head back.
Open your nostrils.
Just twitch a little bit like that. Just put your
That's
head
not
back.
going to work.
Do you think with the increase in technology, just a nice little look into the future, do you think half times will dramatically improve across football?
I think a lot of it. I think a lot of our game will be Americanized.
Do you think we'll get
there's a
holograms
lot
and
of
that
stuff.
before too
I mean, even the other day, I seen people pinging T-shirts in. I remember I went to Dallas Mavericks basketball match, and I couldn't believe how much was going on in the crowd.
Yeah,
and not many people were watching actually the game. Don't know. I just think there's a lot of entertainment and stuff, and
because we're just used to either kids taking penalties or some big lad having a go for getting hitting. There'll be a small target in the penalty box, won't there? And that's what we do. We sit there and eat a pie and watch.
Yeah, watch kids messing about.
Yeah,
but like I think we'll end up with frigging
Super Bowl half-time.
Kind of, full on. I mean, it's coming, isn't it? I mean, Champions League, they have someone performing every year, don't they?
Yeah. I think that's going to be the next area. Joe, was it years ago when Sky not first started, but it was in their groove? They had all the cheerleaders out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And Palace used to have cheerleaders.
I think they still do.
Still have.
They still do, yeah. But they used to really try. Whenever there was a live Sky game, I remember they used to try and give half time a real go. It never really materialised. That was like late 90s, I think.
Good fun though. I enjoyed those. Well, should we get some messages, lad?
Let's do it.
Yeah, do you feel we've covered it all off? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing we haven't discussed there is like social media kind of stuff as well, like club accounts as well, that kind of thing.
Talking of that, have you seen that one as well? Arsenal have just come out. Do you remember when Conor McGregor? Did you see Conor McGregor on the pitch with
Saka and Rice?
Yeah, obviously he was doing some of this stuff, and there was a little bit of playful. But Arsenal have come out and they're looking into whether they're gonna do that sort of social media thing, because obviously it's a social media boost, isn't it? It was on Arsenal's account, just getting Conor McGregor on the pitch after with Saka, I think Declan Rice. Yeah. But yeah, they're having an in-house.
What do you mean by that?
No, they're going to retract it.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor. What was it? Conor McGregor.
I think Conor McGregor was just on the pitch with the Saka and Declan Rice, and he was doing some sort of like.
He was doing some moves. Then he had a kickabout with him.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think he sort of like went to sort of like just to have a little tap on Saka, but he might not, didn't catch him, but I don't know. Arsenal have come back into it going, we're going to be having an in-house discussion whether this is going to be the way forward for this football club.
But it's a weird one, because where do you draw the line with that? Obviously it's Conor McGregor, but we've had Prince William, last or Tom Hanks at Aston Villa on the pitch, strolling around. Julia Roberts at Man United a few years back. Where'd you go?
At City, I seem to remember.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone at Everton.
I was at that game.
Well, yeah.
I was at that game.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was against Reading, that game.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
You played in that game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. That's what I mean. So I meant Tom Hanks walked past me. I think, like, people want to see Tom Hanks on the pitch, don't they?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the thing is with this technology chat, it feels like occasionally we just, it feels like a check-in today, doesn't it? Where it's potentially going.
We haven't even scratched the surface. There's so much, that...
I think occasionally on this podcast we'll end up in this discussion because it feels like we're in a bit of a transitional time. Would you bin off VAR now?
No.
See, I was a staunch, VAR out, man.
I was, but
and I feel like I'm accepted my fate, and I feel like it will improve.
Okay.
Right, Crouchy, Starkey, and Notorious SKID.
Wow, yeah, skid. I think I know where this is going.
Okay, right, okay. I'm not. Your chat about shitting ourselves. Okay, sorry. Your chat about shitting ourselves the other day immediately flashed me back to a pod-related poo of my own. To set the scene, I'm from Milton Keynes, but I live in Arizona now. A couple of years ago, my English pal was flying to the States with a suitcase full of lote. Knowing that I'd finally get to try one, I started mentioning lote in all sorts of conversations with Americans that weren't aware that it is indeed a lager and a stout. One of those people was, unfortunately, an Arizona Cardinals cheerleader that I was, and still am, dating. After her desperate request to understand the meaning of load, you're never going to get it, mate. I sprung out of bed and proceeded to write out lager and stout equals lout on a whiteboard in our bedroom. What a morning it was. There I am, passing the pod in the American desert to a beautiful cheerleader. Life couldn't be better.
Wow, brilliant.
until I heard the sound of a picture being taken from behind and a look of disgust. I assumed she was just confused and didn't like the idea of mixing a lager and stout. But no. I had shit myself without having a clue. I eternally hope it was when I jumped up with excitement to pass the pod and not redefining the meaning of a wet dream. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Anyways, just wanted to share and let you know, guys, that I'm passing the pod as best I can out here, whether I poo my pants or not. Here's the picture. Danny P. Oh!
What is this?
He's writing lager and stout.
No way.
He's writing lager and stout on the board.
I honestly don't know whether to be proud of this guy or... So the cheerleader... This is a picture taken by the cheerleader.
Oh, my God. The Arizona Cardinals cheerleader. Please, can you let me know if you're still with her as well, please?
Is that a cat's
There's
tail?
a cat involved, so they must be tight. There's so much to...
You can see on the whiteboard. Why have they got a whiteboard in the bedroom? That's the other question.
Wow.
That's weird.
Jeez. That is so true as well. Or maybe she's practicing her moves and that, like, positions.
But look at this. Look, it's like it's quite an empty room and then a whiteboard there, as if...
What's that pole about as well? Like, that's the end of the bed. Like,
is that the sofa? It's a clean shat as well, isn't it? It's
straight in and out, isn't it? Like, that's not gone down the leg. That's just popped out. Like,
but
that's
the idea
turtle's
that
head.
this is him passing the pod.
In fact, he sent it in as well. And also, he's explaining to his missus what Laoot is in Arizona.
I mean,
What
this
a
is
guy.
actually the
What a
context.
legend.
The context of this picture is extraordinary.
It's phenomenal, mate. There's so much to unpack. Danny P, what an absolute hero.
There he was, living the dream, explaining lager and stout to a
And
cheerleader.
she's obviously seen it and gone, oh my God, I've got to take a snap of this.
I'm sure I'm not the only one in this room, but I'd love to know what she looks like. I know you're all thinking the same. I know you're all thinking the same. Sorry, Danny. I know you're all thinking the same. Don't lie. If you say you're lying, if you say no, you're a blatantly lying to my face.
To be continued.
Danny, a couple of things, mate. You got to explain this room, mate. We need a little bit more context. What's the cat's name? And send a picture of your missus.
Do you know what you almost need with that
Good
picture?
God.
You need the reverse angle. So maybe he sets it up exactly the same, but just comes from sends it back the other side.
Yeah, send it back from the other way. I think that's a great place to finish, lads. Obviously, you know, we've covered, you know, everything really there, from VAR to you know, analytics in football. To people shitting themselves.
Yeah, Danny, if you could follow through with our request there, we'd really appreciate it. And we'll be back next week.
Muff Divers, get in touch. See you soon.